Hello and welcome to The Man from Hildebrand 2026. As I said in the last episode, I will be doing a kind of what to expect in the world of Bond of this year, and that is what I'm going to do. I feel like I should put a disclaimer out there that this is purely sort of speculation based on what we already know and based on sort of kind of what we've had for the past several years in terms of sort of merchandise and the kind of various of brands and things involved and who have got the license to do it. So 2026, what will it bring in the world of Bond? I feel that Bond 26, this will be the year because I feel that things will move massively. It's kind of sort of I've seen little bits online from various sources that Bond 26 is due to begin production at Pinewood in April, and apparently the villain is kind of AI, so I would imagine it'd be very much like Mission Impossible where you've got the entity. It'll probably be the same thing. But yeah, I mean, in terms of production, it just means they'll probably start getting the sets built. They'll probably have a lot of meetings. They'll probably start casting sort of Bond girls. The Scooby Doo gang. MQ, Moneypenny, various other actors and all this. I don't think I would expect to at least wait until autumn until we get the announcement of who the new Bond will be, because obviously Denis Villeneuve is going to be finishing doing the principal photography on Dune 3, and then as soon as he's done that, when that's in post-production, he'll probably then start doing pre-production on Bond 26 and we'll start casting. Callum Turner is making the headlines again because apparently he's telling everybody he's got the role. First of all, I don't believe. Well, first of all, it'll be in his contract not to say anything if he had. And again, it's same old. Until it's confirmed, that's when it's official. Until it's been confirmed. Otherwise, it's just rumours and speculation. As soon as a new Bond is announced, it would hopefully put all the crap, Henry Cavill, Tom Hiddleston, all that shit behind us. But yeah, so anyway, I feel 2026 will be when Bond 26 gets the gears moving, gets into production, things start moving, we'll start getting a lot more information. Talking of that, Stephen Knight has recently opened up a little bit about his work on Bond. He's still writing it, and he's kind of commenting how the way Bond is very much like folklore. He's kind of in the, it's supposed to be treated the same as Robin Hood and King Arthur. It's a kind of a legend, if you like, which of course it is. So I've got 100% faith in Stephen Knight. He seems to be a Bond fan. He's never, even though he was asked what his favourite Bond film was, he never kind of spoke about it. Probably because he didn't want speculation, or probably didn't want to give too much away because it might be, based or very inspired by that particular film. I totally get it. But otherwise, I have absolute faith in what he's doing. I mean, it's a big name. I mean, he's the co-creator of Peaky Blinders. He's also done a lot of work with Stephen Graham, which he is kind of gone up the rank. I mean, Stephen Graham, he kind of started off probably well known for This Is England sort of franchise. He's then appeared in was it Boiling Point or Pressure Point? Appeared in that. He's probably even been in Whitechapel, Adolescence, Little Boy Blue, 1,000 Blows, which was also a Stephen Knight creation as well. So yeah, Stephen Graham is. I wouldn't be surprised if he features in the next Bond film. because of his connection with Stephen Knight. And if he is great, because I actually really like him. Again, I mean, is just one of them. You know, if you in England, if you watch telly, you can guarantee you know him straight away. I mean, I'm sure people internationally may know who he is as well, but yeah, otherwise is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so I feel that this will be the beginning of 126. 007 First Light. Now that was announced just before Christmas. That was due to be released March the 27th. It's now been pushed back to May the 27th. The reason they are giving is that they just need a little bit more time to tweak it. Take that as you will. Statements and things like that, I take as a pinch of salt, because even though it has come from the author's mouth, there's a chance that there could be something. I mean, it might be absolutely genuine. That might be the general reason, but I kind of just there might be something I don't know. There's always a possibility that it could be something a little bit more sort of more than that. I mean, my thinking is well, you know, they've kind of spent all this time promoting the film, being very confident that it's going to be this and this and this, and it's like as if they kind of doubted themselves, that they've got to think, well, maybe we should sort of just tweak it up a bit because we're not quite happy with what we've been telling people. I don't know, but we'll see. So hopefully that'll be out May the 27th. Anniversaries. We've got 55 years of Diamonds Are Forever, 45 years of Few Eyes Only, 20 years of Casino Royale. Now, as announced last year, they are doing Casino Royale in concert on the 30th of December of this year. Doesn't seem that long away. It'll soon come around. That is obviously, you know, the film being played on big screen with a live orchestra, with the London Philharmonic or whatever it is. David Arnold will be there, no doubt. They did a Casino Royale in concert back in 2017. David Arnold went and sang the theme tune because Chris Cornell had not long just passed away. So yeah, there's a matinee showing and an evening showing. I don't know how much the tickets are. I'm kind of just sort of see how things go, to be honest. So yeah, and I should imagine with that they will probably do a one-off release in selected cinemas, just like they did with GoldenEye. So yeah, I mean, the thing with Goldfinger, when that reached 60, I was actually very impressed with how Eon at the time and Danjak kind of celebrated it. They gave us the James Bond bar in Burlington arcade. All of Bar Brown released a collection. NPL released a collection. Crockett and Jones released a limited edition pair of shoes. There was various the Sock Exchange did some Goldfinger related socks. The Sock Exchange did Sock Exchange. 007 Store released a lot of sort of Goldfinger related golfing paraphernalia. Scare Electrics did a sort of a gold coloured slot car. So they kind of went really, and they even did they did a one-off screening at Pinewood Studios itself of Goldfinger. And Aston Martin, they even released a limited edition DB12 in silver birch with sort of like, you know, the kind of Goldfinger limited edition plates and stuff on the door sills, sort of not fully gold interior, but interior with specks of gold on there. Even had like I know 7 of diamonds or whatever embroidered into the leather seats. I don't know how much they cost, I don't know, but they went absolutely to town, and I was actually really impressed with what they did. I would imagine they may go again with the same Casino Royale. GoldenEye for its 30th, I didn't think they actually did as much of an effort in terms of merchandising. The Sock Exchange, they released a commemorative GoldenEye pack. I think that's it. I mean, Thunderball was 60, and yet I was kind of hoping that they may have released Thunderball in selected cinemas, but they didn't. Um, and again, you know, there just didn't seem to be as much merchandise or as much celebration around Thunderball. Because again, Goldfinger, yeah, it's iconic. You know, it kind of set the gold bar. No pun intended. Thunderball is just as iconic. Um, but yeah, but talking of which, I do feel, especially when it comes to All About Brown, that they were supposed to. Well, I was told by All About Brown when I went to visit their store in London that there was plans to release a brand new Bond collection in November of last year. We never got that collection, so I would suspect that. I mean, I've got no inside information. This is just a sensible prediction that they may release their collection in spring of this year. Within that collection, I would expect it to be clothing inspired by Thunderball, A View to a Kill, GoldenEye, and Spectre. N. Peel, they may come along as well and do the same. Crockett and Jones, they may do a limited a pair of Thunderball shoes. You know, there's I mean, I know Globetrotter, the suitcase manufacturer, they've released their Thunderball cases. So yeah, I would suspect that they would be other things in the pipeline which just haven't been released. So yeah, and then we've obviously got La La Land. Now, in the last episode I kind of went into depth about that and about sort of the revelations on that. Hopefully, I mean, again, this is just a sensible prediction. We may, get A View to a Kill and GoldenEye expanded soundtrack, which was due Black Friday last year, but then got postponed to January, but then never made January. Now it's in limbo due to sort of complications. I would suspect we may get them before June, July, because if they release A View to a Kill after June, they can't really sell it as being the 40th anniversary because it's then 41 years. So I kind of feel that if they have it in their anniversary year, but before June, will be good. But hopefully we won't have to wait long for them. So yeah, we've got A View to a Kill and GoldenEye expanded score, hopefully, as well as we may get Diamonds Are Forever 55th anniversary expanded, who knows, release, as well as the 45th anniversary of For Your Eyes Only. Now I do believe that there's still probably about 10-15 minutes of music missing from that, so we may get an expanded edition of that. Also, we may get an expanded edition of Casino Royale. We will see. Speaking of La La Land, I believe that if you've ordered the Moonraker vinyl back in November, they are due to be shipped this month, so you should be releasing them, receiving them anyway. We may get the Man with the Golden Gun on vinyl as well, because last year Verity had reported that La La Land were planning on releasing 3 vinyls: Goldfinger, Moonraker, Man with the Golden Gun. So expect to see the Man with the Golden Gun. I would imagine that throughout the year they may announce a few others. They may do Octopussy on LP, Live and Let Die on LP. Who knows? So yeah, expect them from La La Land. I'm not going to go wild. I'm not going to speculate too much. I'm being sensible with what, and I've always have been sensible with this channel, is to be, give you a down to earth kind of approach to things. Also, Ian Fleming Publications, they will be releasing the third and final novel by Kim Sherwood, Hurricane Room. I will no doubt get it in hardback because I've got the other two, and we've still got to see what the final artwork for the UK edition is. They released the US cover art last year. Um, yeah, I mean the titles of the first two, Double or Nothing, A Spy Like Me, I really like, and I really like the cover work on the hardbacks as well. They're just different. Hurricane Room, I just find very underwhelming compared to those other two titles, and I just hope that the artwork doesn't go with that. But then at the same time, it's clearly that they've got great titles, but what's inside isn't great. I still haven't read them yet. The more I look into comments, the more I talk to people, they have not got nothing to say. The second one, Spy Like Me, is apparently better, but the first one is just, yeah, it's just a classic example of the concept sounds great, it's just didn't put it off. And then we've got Vaseem Khan, second Q mystery novel, The Man with the Golden Compass. Yeah, you can't get any more original than that, can you? And apparently, I mean, I think this is a trilogy as well. So we've got two books which I'm not going to buy because, well, I will buy Hurricane Room, but I probably won't read it. In fact, I think the time that I should have started reading Kim Sherwood's novels was clearly the time when I was in hospital when I was suffering from a stroke, when I clearly wasn't with it, because I think looking at the comments and looking at the response, I think you've clearly got to be not in the right frame of mind to even begin to read them. So yeah, and then The Man with the Golden Compass, which I will not avoid because I've expressed my views on the Q stories, and no, not for me. What we may get, and what I hope we get, is an announcement to say that Raymond Benson will return to give us a second Felix Leiter novel. That is something I want. Now, I believe that The Hook and the Eye has been quite popular, very popular. It's now going through its second print. So I believe that's been selling like hotcakes. What I would also like as well, which I doubt very much, is for them to announce that Robert Harris will be writing a series of novels set, taking Bond into the Second World War and exploring his naval career. That I would absolutely love. Just like I would also love if they had announced established author to write a series of 10 novels which are based in the 1970s. I've said this previously. I would love for a Bond to be taken in the 70s. William Boyd was nearly there, and obviously John Connor came and took him through the 80s and onwards, but nobody ever took him in the 70s. You could argue that Jim Lawrence may have been the official author of the 1970s because he did the Daily Express comic strips throughout the 1970s. But yeah, I would absolutely love for an established, well-known author. I know Lee Child. I don't know, somebody who we know who can just take them through the 70s. That I would love. Also with the Inflammatory Publications is they aren't really impressing me. The only good that they've done, which has really impressed me, is bringing back Charlie Higson and bringing back Raymond Benson. What I want to know is, 2023 was 70 years into publication Casino Royale. They made a bit of a thing about it, fair enough. But where was the 70 years of Live and Let Die? Where was the 70 years of Moonraker? Where was the 70 years of Diamonds Are Forever? It's. I mean, but also this year, there's a lot more anniversaries in the literature bond. This year is 70 years of Diamonds Are Forever. There's this from the top of my head, there's a lot of John Garden novels which reached milestones. there's 35 years of Broken Claw, 30 years since Cold, 20 years since Blood Fever, 20 years since Samantha Weinberg's second Moneypenny Diary, The Secret Servant. Yeah, there's a lot, and I say there's a lot of John Gardner novels which are reaching milestones, and yet they will choose to ignore him. Why? Ian Fleming Publications, answer me now. Why are you not celebrating the release or anything of them? Yes, you're Ian Fleming Publications. It's all about Fleming. It's about his creation. I get that, but you've got to also embrace and cherish those who continued his legacy and brought it forward and kept the fan base going, right? I want to see reissues of Raymond Benson novels. I want to see reissues of John Gardner novels in hardback with all brand new covers. Several years back, you only reissued, 2012, you reissued the entire John Gardner Bond catalogue. Absolutely fantastic, because it was the first time we actually got him in a complete uniform set. You also went to release his first 5 novels, which had the chopping-esque artwork, which was put by Trevor Scobie. Brilliant. It was only a few years ago when you decided to reissue License Renewed and for Special Services. Now, I actually spoke to Simon Gardner, John Gardner's son, about it, and he says, oh yes, that reminds me, I must have a conversation with Ian Fleming Publications about reissuing Icebreaker. Nothing happened. Why? Right? You need to, instead of bringing out crap like the Q mystery novels, or continue to employ the likes of Kim Sherwood with a 00 trilogy spin-off. Celebrate what we have got. Right? I've just told you what I want and what many other fans want. You've got to embrace it. You've got to, start releasing limited edition, anniversary specials of Diamonds Are Forever. Special reissues of the John Gardner novels. Right? You cannot ignore him. I mean, yes, his stories are, hit and miss, but the titles are fantastic. But at the end of the day, it is still part of the same legacy. These authors, John Gardner, Raymond Benson, Sebastian Faulks, William Boyd, Anthony Horowitz, they have carried on that legacy and brought that legacy forward, which Fleming unfortunately wasn't able to because he passed away at quite a young age. Right? You need to get, celebrate his legacy. Right? I want a book, based like the James Bond, Henry Chancellor did the James Bond, the Man and His World, which focused on the Ian Fleming novels. I want Henry Chancellor to come back again and do exactly what he did for that, but do it for the John Gardner novels. If he doesn't do it, I'll do it for you, because let's face it, I've got nothing better to do because I'm currently off work. So there you go, that's a project for me to do. So yeah, you just need to give John Gardner the attention that he deserves. Please make this a year where you have a plan and you've got to celebrate what we've already got. Right? Give me Robert Harris to take Bond through the Second World War. Give me an established author to take him through the 1970s, but just don't keep churning out churning out reprints of the Fleming novels. We don't need it. We've got it. But also, talking about new books, we've also got the M.W. Craven, was it M.J. Craven, James Bond and the Secret Academy. Again, I'm going to say no to that because I've got my young Bond. That's brilliant. I don't need James Bond training agent to go in an academy. Not my cup of tea. What I want is IFP to just embrace and celebrate the continuation authors. Please. Not asking much. Talking of Ian Fleming Publications, Dynamite Comics. Now, I noticed that last year they gone a little bit quiet. I thought, okay, they haven't released any new sort of volumes or collections or stories. I did a little bit of digging around. I put my feelers out there on the groups. I asked the question, what's the crack? IFP lost a license. Anyway, Mr. Matthew Bradford, who's a very well known figure within the sort of spy community, if you like, espionage, he's absolutely, the man's a legend. The man's a dude. You'll see him on Spybury. You'll see him in the James Bond book groups because he collects first editions. He seems to favourite genre must be espionage because he knows stuff about Len Dayton, Le Carre, Agatha Christie's sort of kind of espionage kind of stories. He's a very well knowledgeable man. When I asked this question, I thought, you know what, Mr. Bradford's going to answer that, and lo and behold, he did. And he basically said that with Dynamite, they've kind of gone into liquidation because they are owed $1 million from Diamond Comics. Now, Diamond Comics went bust probably a year or so ago, and they was like a big American comic distributor. They went bust, and obviously with Dynamite Comics not having $1 million that they are owed, they can't pay their artists or the writers. So they've probably got a lot of titles and stuff just put on hold, and they can't release them until it's all been resolved. So Dynamite have been bought out by somebody else. Diamond's Comics have been bought out by somebody else. So they're in the legal process to then still get the $1 million which are owed to Dynamite from Diamond Comics. This year might be the year. Once they get that released and over and done with, we may then get some more books and stories from Dynamite. 2024, it was announced that Gail Simone was going to write a Bond story through Dynamite. That never got published. It might be in the vaults, it might be there sitting waiting for the thumbs up, but until all this legal business is sorted, they can't do it. Talking of which, I actually just finished The Agent of Spectre. Again, I kind of think that's probably the weakest story from Dynamite yet. All before that, I absolutely love. But yeah, Agent of Spectre, it's a really good concept. It's kind of based sort of on an idea which was developed for The Spy Who Loved Me, where Spectre gets hijacked. That then was later used in No Time to Die, but it's when also Bond then becomes an agent of Spectre. Bond is then employed by Blofeld, and to kind of help defeat the hijacker. But then Bond kind of sort of goes and destroys the organisation within. The whole idea sounds brilliant, but it wasn't executed brilliantly at all, so I was a little bit underwhelmed, a little bit disappointed. I felt that the story should have been spread out over several volumes, but whilst I'm on the kind of subject to Dynamite, I thought I'd get that in there. We are, of course, still waiting for the Moonraker faithful adaptation of by Dynamite, because they gave us Casino Royale and Live and Let Die with the front cover artwork by none other than Faye Dalton. Again, Moonraker, still up in the air. I was kind of sort of wondering whether or not IFP had still got the license, or if Dynamite has still got the license. And as Mr. Bradford pointed out, the fact that on the IFP website that they are still using sort of the artwork that's seen in the Dynamite comics still suggests that they're still talking to each other and that they are on friendly terms and that they could well still be at the contract. So hopefully when this mess with Dynamite's cleared up, we may get something from them. Also, of course, last year saw the release of Octopussy and the Living Daylights by Fairlight Society. We'd been waiting 3 years for this. That again was all due to sort of legal issues involving Faye Dalton. I would like to think that's been cleared up or whatever, because we'd obviously got the Living Daylights and Octopussy. Um, Now, I'm not saying that this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they will give us the Diamond Smugglers and Thrilling Cities, because the James Bond stories by Fleming proved to be a bestseller. It was a really good hit for Folio. So I can't see why they wouldn't give us Diamond Smugglers or Thrilling Cities. I've got a feeling that they might even go as far as giving us Colonel Sun, which would be great because again, Colonel Sun, that's. I mean, Ian Fleming Publications kind of did republish that a year or so ago. Fair enough, but I mean, ideally, I would absolutely love if Folio had done the whole shebang of Bond novels: Gardner's, Horowitz, Fawkes, Boyd. Uh, you know, Benson's. I mean, that whether or not I don't know. I don't know if the Garner ones would sell though, because as I said earlier, they are a little bit hit and miss. But still, they should be celebrated. IFP need to make more of an effort in embracing that, because at the end of the day, that helped bring Fleming's creation through the 80s. It was going alongside the films. It was, it still should be celebrated. So yeah, so also in March, Mini GT, who do the 1/64 scale cars, which I started collecting, which I spoke about just before Christmas last year, in fact. They are bringing out their third wave of vehicles, and that includes the Jaguar XKR from Die Another Day, the DB10, the DB5 from Skyfall, and the Red Lotus Esprit from For Your Eyes Only. Now, last year they had released two waves. The first wave was in April last year, and it's quite funny because the first four vehicles in the small print at the back were all copyrighted to Dan Shack. The second wave, which was released in September, were all copyrighted to London Operations. So obviously that's just based on the assumption that they do two waves a year. So it's a reasonable speculation to say that yes, I know for a fact that the third wave is due for release in March. It's a sensible speculation that they will release the fourth wave in September. I think probably next year, by the time they release the other two waves, I think that's their collection done. Because when they first announced that they were going to release these cars, they'd released an image with all the vehicles. I'm assuming that that's the vehicles that they're going to do. So you've got the Ford Mustang from Goldfinger. You've got the V8 from Living Daylights, DBS from Majesty's, Citroen For Your Eyes Only, Tuk Tuk from Octopussy, the AMC Hornet from The Man with the Golden Gun. So Z3. So you've got a range, a good range of Bond cars. So yeah, Mini GT. Also Hot Toys. Now Hot Toys had announced last year that they got the Bond license to release a series of 1/6 scale figures. They have come forward and they've announced the Daniel Craig No Time to Die figure with his tuxedo on. That is due to be released any time between April and September. Retail about £250. Personally, when I've looked at it, the eyes just don't look right. I was kind of very doubtful, thinking, oh, is it one of these kind of AI created images or one of these unofficial products? But this is an actual official product licensed by London Operations, everything. And then this is the actual first official figure that we will have of Daniel Craig. And yet, you know, I think ever since Spectre, you've had unlicensed products, unlicensed figures. You have the MI6 secret agent, which of course hasn't got James Bond or 007 on the packaging, but you've got a figure of Daniel Craig. Those unofficial, unlicensed figures actually seemed a lot more kind of better, more likable than the official figure. So I should imagine as soon as that's released, the people who've pre-ordered that, they will start posting pictures all over social media. They've also got another one, another No Time to Die one in the combat gear as seen towards the end of the film. There's a sort of a waiting order, I think. So I think that's what basically to see how much interest they have on that figure to see if it's worthwhile for them to produce it. But I say that's not for me because I'm just not that. The eyes just don't look right. I hope they do others, which I'm sure they will, and I might dabble in it. I mean, they may hopefully do figures which have never been released before, because the figures is a bit of an interesting one. That's going to be an episode on its own, because I mean you can probably see I've got some of the vintage Gilbert figures there. But yeah, I think once they get released, I'll probably do an episode on the history of the Bond figures, because that's kind of an interesting kind of topic. So yeah, now in terms of merchandising, we may get other products released which we don't even know. I mean, I don't know. We just don't know. So yeah, Factory Entertainment. They will. I've heard from Factory Entertainment themselves that they will release some Bond things this year. When they do the San Diego Comic Con, they always do a video on YouTube. I always kind of have a look and see what's there. From memory, they had a GoldenEye proximity mine prop replica. They had the Thunderball breathing device. They had a bar of gold from Goldfinger. And then with the scale replica range, which is obviously the smaller one and a much cheaper sort of range, there was the attaché case from Thunderball, from Much Love, the Thunderball jetpack, and Blofeld's batho tub from Diamonds Are Forever. So I think yeah they look pretty cool. I'm very interested in the breathing device because I believe this is the second issue. The first time they did it was probably about 15 years ago. I missed out on it. I don't know, it just went under the radar. I never got it. But they did like sort of the Thunderball breathing device alongside the Dine of the Day breathing device. But it looked like they may reissue the Thunderball one again, so I'm going to keep my eyes out on that. With Factory Entertainment, I love them. I think what they've done is really cool. It's just some of the things I'm kind of thinking, kind of scraping the barrel a little bit there. The proximity mine of GoldenEye does not appeal to me whatsoever. I think it's more the fact of knowing actually what it was actually made out of. I think it was like a base for a joystick or something very simple. But yeah, it's like the Aston Martin gear stick replica with the red button. I thought, well, £150. I thought, doesn't really appeal to me. The Day of the Dead mask again doesn't really appeal to me. The homing device, or the gold bar. Odd Jobs hat, that if I had the room I may get that. I mean, I've got George's teeth, I've got the golden gun, I've got the GoldenEye disc key prop replica, I've got Safin's mask, I've got the Solex agitator. So there is it's personal taste. I mean, there's probably people who collect every single Factory Entertainment Bond piece have done, but for me it's just personal taste. It's just if I think, wow, yeah, okay, brilliant, I'll get it. Otherwise I think, can I really justify to spend that amount of money on that? I won't get it. But that's just my choice. So yeah, Factory Entertainment, they will be bringing some more Bond products out. It's still worth, when they do the San Diego Comic Con, to always kind of follow them, because they may have sort of other pieces in the pipeline as well. So yeah, right. So events. We've got the Casino Royale at Concert Hall. We've also got the Tracks of 007, hosted by Magin Multa. He's doing an Italy tour. I think Matera is one of them, so there's obviously No Time to Die. I can't remember what the other locations are, but of course this anniversaries. It's 5 years since No Time to Die as well. Who knows? I mean, 5 years. It's not really a milestone, to be honest. And I kind of said this about Spectre. 10 years doesn't seem as impressive as 30 years or 40, 60. I mean, Casino Royale, I mean, that was a huge hit. I know that is a fan favourite, so they may do something with that. I mean, No Time to... I mean, I love that film, and that'll be another episode to come this year of why I love that film, and I will defend it to the ends of the earth on that. I know it's a very controversial film, but there's very good reasons I love that film, and that's for another episode. So yeah, No Time to Die will be 5 years old this year. So obviously, the On the Tracks is to probably celebrate that. Shaken and Stirred, they have got a couple of events this year. They are back at Ambley for James Bond Day, no doubt, at the 2nd May bank holiday. I went to the one last year, which was really cool because they obviously incorporated A View to a Kill because it was 40 years of that, and of course Ambley Museum is where some of the Zorin's Mine was filmed, and they have announced that they've got another event to the 23rd to the 25th of October, probably in Pinewood Hotel. I've got a feeling that I know what that event will be focusing on, but I will let Shaken and Stirred announce that. I mean, yeah, I would strongly recommend, if you're not signed up to the group, sign. I mean, I've got a membership. I think my membership's probably expiring soon, but no, get it. It's an absolutely brilliant group. I kind of sung the praises last year when I went to the event. It's just incredible because it's just two ordinary guys who've got two ordinary jobs, and they do this kind of in their spare time, and there is a lot of work that goes into it. So absolutely hats off to both Nick and Matt and their probably long-term suffering partners, wives, I don't know, but yeah, that they do an absolutely brilliant job. It's just, I mean, last year was the biggest event that they'd ever done. It was celebrating 4 films. They had a fantastic array of special guests, and I mean, I've got a lot. I know a lot of people through there because of the James Bond radio days. All the JBR lot, now that's sadly disbanded, or not doing it anymore. The followers have kind of mingled, and yes, you have several sort of groups that mingle, and it's brilliant because we're in a room where we just love the same thing and we're just talking about the passion, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to attending whatever it is this year. So when the tickets go on sale, I would suggest get them because they sell out, but make sure you've got enough for make sure there's one left for me. Shaken and Stirred of doing an event this year. So I think in terms of what to expect this year, I think that's it. So yeah, this year will be the year of Bond 26. Expect more kind of snippets of what's happening, probably, photographs in the press, in the media. We will, I think, get an announcement of the new actor later on this year, sort of autumn time. and yeah, and I would suspect that we will get a range of ludicrously expensive products, um, and yeah, but yeah, we've also got 007 First Light coming in May now as opposed to March, so yeah, and then we've also got all these events to look forward to, and to the some of the book announcements. Um, MJ Craven is releasing his Secret Agent Academy. Um, Vazine Khan is releasing a second Q mystery novel, The Man with the Golden Compass, and Kim Sherwood is releasing a third and final, thankfully, uh, Double O novel, Hurricane Room. Um, so yeah, and then I think that yeah, in terms of sort of 2026, I think that's it.